All right, here's a little bit of help for number 20. This problem is asking you about tree heights and like the rate that they grow. So again, you know if there's two different trees, you need to have two different equations. I've kind of set things up here already. You need to graph it, so that's what I kind of did over here. And I also know that we're trying to solve for where the height of each of these trees will be the same. So I'm going to try to, I just set up a T-chart here. We'll talk about this in a little bit before we graph. We're basically looking for where our two lines are going to cross here. We need to know that exact number in years and the height. So I use T to represent time as in years, and then height is in feet because that's the measurement of the trees. So it says for tree number 1 that the nursery is growing a tree that is 3 feet tall and grows at an average rate of a foot per year. So I know it's starting off at 3, and then it's adding 1 foot for every year. So I'm going to put 1 T. So because my measurement is in years, otherwise you can just put 3 plus T, that would work as well. The only thing you're changing is that number in front. And then tree number 2 says another tree at the nursery is 4 feet tall, so it's starting at 4, and we're adding half a foot or 0.5 every year. So now this is where my T-chart comes in handy. I know my formulas kind of ran in. So now you're going to plug in these variables or these numbers here. So for your years or the T, you're going to plug in 1 year to figure out how tall it'll be. And then you'll plug in 2. So I'm going to start with tree number 1. If I plug in 1 here, that's 1 times 1 is 1 plus 3 gives me 4 feet. So I know, and I'm going to use orange to represent tree number 1. So I know at 1 year, it's going to be 4 feet tall. And then I'm going to do the same thing for tree number 1. If I plug in 1 here, 0.5 times 1 gives me 0.5. So 0.5 plus 4 gives me 4.5. So at 1 year, it's going to be about 4.5 feet tall. And you're just going to work your way through, and you're basically going to try to figure out where will these trees be the same height. So let's try this here. So let's plug in our 2 here. If we plug in 2, so 1 times 2 gives me 2 plus 3 is 5 feet for this one. So at 2 years, this one's going to be 5. So I have a line starting there. And then if I plug in my 2 here, 2 times 0.5 gives me 1 plus 4 gives me 5. So I've actually already found where they're going to be the same. So at 2 years, it's going to be this. So like if you were to continue this line, this tree would grow at a rate of this, and this tree would be growing at a much steeper rate. But in this case, I know that at the second year, they'll be the same height.